Hello, it's Brian. I wanted to remind you once more that voidsignal.net is where you can find a link to the Void Signal Patreon, where you can sign up for as little as $2 per month or whatever fits in your budget to help me create more ad free Void Signal. In addition to hours and hours of content on there, you'll also be able to find an extended cut of today's episode with Phil Gonzo and Sam. The the patron episode gets a lot more heated than than this one. So yeah, you can come take a peek at that madness at your leisure. Thank you so much for your consideration. Stay safe, stay loud, and be well as much as you can. Take care. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Is my mic loud enough?
Yes, you sound
Sounds great to
excellent.
me.
Yes.
Brian, do you want me to bounce?
Yeah, if you want to. Phil, do you care if Sam hangs around for
Not
our
at all.
interview?
Not
Okay.
at all.
Okay, great.
I
So
know nothing about you. I
yeah,
was just here to talk to Brian, but I was
yes.
like, yeah, maybe I'll stick around.
I mean, it's up to you, Sam. Like, if you feel like, oh, I'm not
I don't
qualified,
want
but
to.
if
I don't
you,
want to impose. I don't care. It's totally up to you. You're the host.
um, yeah, I don't care. I mean, you sometimes ask thoughtful things, and but more importantly, like you can come through in a pinch if my mind inevitably blanks out for a moment. Um,
Sounds good.
okay.
Yeah, I'll hang out.
All right, cool. Well, anyway, Sam, this is Phil Gonzo, and
Hey, Phil. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
so Sam is also a musician. But anyway, that's his. Not in the scene. More, I don't know how to describe your shit, Sam, but it's
I live in a forest, and that's
play guitar
that.
and sing. But more importantly, Phil, I want to. Are you ready? Like, do you care if we just kind of start?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Okay, cool.
Let me just put my phone on silent, actually.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, that's actually a fucking really smart idea. I'm gonna do the same.
And turn all of my notifications back on. Hold
uh,
on, I gotta take this.
um, okay, so that comes around to who is Phil Gonzo. I've been listening to your discography in the run up to this, and I'm enjoying myself. It jumps all over the place as
It
far
does, yeah.
as style and composure and everything, which is exciting to me. That's a thing I love. But where did you come from, and how did you get here?
That's a long story. Where do I start?
Hit the high notes for us.
Well, I guess we're talking like more specifically about like my journey as a producer from start to finish.
Yeah.
So I started producing back late 2009, so
Mhm.
quite a long time ago. I started off pretty casually, as most people do. I was at a friend of a friend's, and he had FL Studio installed, and they were messing around with that. And I was like, oh, that looks kind of neat. So I asked the guy, hey, do you mind if I get in and try this out? And he let me in for I think a total of 3 minutes before being like, okay, yo, you got to get out. I got to mess around with this. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna have to go get the software then.
Yeah.
So hooked.
Right.
Yeah, definitely hooked right away. And yeah, so that was the start. I started off doing really bad dubstep, like really awful dubstep.
Mhm.
That transitioned to starting to mess around with like house and stuff.
Sure.
But my main focus was hip hop
Mhm.
for a really long time. I had a group. You can find, if you search in Phil Gonzo, you go digging enough, you can find stuff that I was working on like
Yeah. And
10 plus years ago.
and just real quick, I do hear the hip hop influence very much in some of your tracks and in your style, and I think it's a thing that like really helps set you apart in some of this composition and elements. But please like continue.
Yeah, I can't run away from it. I've tried to run away from the hip hop thing for a while now, and I always keep getting sucked back into it. I mean, I just love the music. Not all of it. Like, there's a lot of hip hop I
Sure.
despise. Like most of what's mainstream today is just awful music.
Sure.
Like I've always despised Drake. He's from my city. And I've never liked that music. I've never liked it at all. I'm more of like an old school hip hop head, like 90s stuff. Anyone that's trying to do anything like 90s stuff, yeah, that's my shit.
Gotcha.
But so yeah, I was producing hip hop for a long time, like probably up until 2017 is when I made the transition. Actually, that's exactly when I made the transition, 2016, 2017. I do engineering as well, so I still engineer hip hop stuff, but in terms of actually producing it, like those days are unfortunately past me. But yeah, so around
I'm
20...
sorry, really quick. Can I interject with a question? Pretend I'm ignorant. You will not have to pretend very hard. When you say engineering, what do you mean by that exactly?
Audio engineering, like recording, mixing.
Okay, gotcha.
Not so much mastering. Like I have an amazing mastering engineer that I've been working with since 2013 or so. He was a really good friend of mine. So I don't do any mastering. I always send him. I do sometimes, but very rarely. I usually just send it to Mike. So,
okay, gotcha. Okay, please continue.
Yeah, so 2016, 2017, I kind of had a falling out with somebody I was working with. I produced like half his project and did the mixing for the whole thing. And yeah, we had a falling out to say the least. And that's when I was in a bit of a stump for a while. And then I just decided I've got to move on from this and I've got to try something new.
Yeah.
So I found G House, and G House was like a really good transition.
What is G House?
Yeah, G House?
It's basically it's house music with like really heavy hip hop influence. Like
okay, so like gangster house.
Yeah,
that's what I like in my mind. I was like, it's G, like it's what up, G.
I don't know if you know an artist named Mala, Malaa.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a huge influence on me. Huge.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so that was like the big transitional period for me. Like I wanted to start doing like house music with hip hop, and I was like still really into hip hop. And so I did an EP.
Yeah.
That it's not on streaming. It's only on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Because like sampling and shit. I was sampling. I forget who I sampled, but stuff that wouldn't have. I would not have been able to get cleared, and I wasn't even really on the streaming game at that point either. Like I wasn't really. I wasn't using Spotify. I think maybe I was using it back then, but it wasn't like I didn't know much about anything. Right. So I just dropped my shit on SoundCloud. That's all I knew. Right.
Yeah. And I have to say, like, you've come far. Like this most recent record I've been listening to, and it's it's fresh. It's really I've been enjoying my time listening to it. And the new single with Mobius, who is going to be on the show in a few weeks.
I heard
really was a wonderful way to start my Friday last week. Banger of a track. Hats off for that. I'm excited to hear what you make next, kind of a thing. But
I really appreciate it. That means a lot. Yeah, Mobius knocked it out of the fucking park. Like that I got to give him all the credit for that. Like it's a remix basically. We didn't want to market it like a remix because no one really gives a shit about remixes, to be honest with you. Some people do, but you know, you have to kind of be a bigger artist.
I do tend to agree with you, and that's the thing I'd like to just kind of interrogate like a little bit. But I like, as much as growing up, I loved remixes, right? Like I was like,
so do I love them.
Yeah, me too, and I think they're cool. But I don't. I just. Why do you?
I almost never do.
Really?
I don't fucking know. I usually like the original. I like covers. I even sometimes I'm like, I don't fucking like covers. That's why like I never do covers either. I just
see. I think there are so many bad remixes.
That's probably what's ruined it for me.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Is that like so that when you hear like a really good one, it can be really awesome. But like kind of what you're getting at, Phil, is that like there comes an element of like when it has been remixed so much, at what point is it then a collaboration versus just I'm taking a thing and putting my own style or spin on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. No, and so I mean, everyone who did their thing on this remix EP that's coming out, like they just knocked it out of the fucking park.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I really like remixes that like turn things on their heads. Like, so I'm just picky with them. I feel like I remember I heard one that was Heart of Glass, and it was for like it was for some commercial or some shit, and
Mhm.
like they just used the part of Heart of Glass that's like, but it sounded like really dark, like because they
Mhm.
leaned into like the minor chord that they use. I don't know if it was in that section or what, but it just sounded really dark and eerie, and I'm like, I didn't know this song was that dark. And so like when they're able to flip something on its head and like take it so far out of its genre, that's when I'm like, that's a really fucking cool thing to do, and it's very creative
Mhm.
to me.
Agree.
Yeah,
I
so
just
so
I
so
just have heard a lot of
Zafu's
the shitty things.
so Zafu's remix that's coming out next Friday.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he completely took my song and just destroyed it.
Yeah.
Like there is no real semblance of the original song. It's
Mhm.
like he took the energy of it and molded it into something completely new.
Okay.
In
And
a good way.
oh, in the absolute best possible way.
All right, sweet.
So
What do you feel when you sort of send off a thing to someone that I mean, you clearly admire him, and I mean, fuck, I do too. He's very gifted. But you know, when you send off a thing of like, here's my child, you know, what's your sort of impression when you get back what, you know, some of these things that you get back?
oh, it's just pure excitement. Like
Okay.
I mean, I don't ask anyone that I don't immensely respect,
Okay.
you know,
Mhm.
to do that kind of stuff. So I mean, everyone that's involved. Actually, I had one of the remixes, an artist, Twin V, that I don't know if I should be pronouncing it in a different way.
Sure.
I haven't even asked them, but
Quinvu.
they sent me a remix.
Mhm.
I didn't ask them for anything. They just sent me a remix after my album came out, like a week or two, I think, after it came out.
Mhm.
And I was just like, okay, I wasn't expecting this. It's pretty fucking cool.
Hmm.
And so yeah, it ended up on being on the release, and it's really badass. That's also kind of, it's really a unique spin. Like it uses some of the stems, but
Mhm.
everything on the EP is super unique.
Mhm. Nice.
It's like the remixes are all done completely differently.
Yeah.
And I think for a release, you want that, right? Like you don't want people trying to do the same thing or trying to do remixes just for the sake of doing remixes.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything just turned out so like I get goosebumps thinking about how good those songs are. Like,
Yeah.
I genuinely think they're just like they deserve to be their own songs. They don't deserve to just be called remixes, right? They
Sure.
really are more like collaborations.
Yeah.
And so
that's really
moving
good.
forward, whenever I'm doing a remix or whenever I ask someone to do a remix, that's the way I want to market it and the way I want to just like look at it, you know?
Sure,
Like, I don't
yeah.
want to look at it like it's a remix, it's a collaboration. It's
Yeah.
just taking something that's already been done that I'm happy with and then like
Mhm.
taking it to the next level. So
Yeah, no, that makes more, and I think that makes more sense. And I also, it's a thing that I've heard in the sort of behind the scenes of like collaborations go a long way as far as like exposure and reaching audiences and gaining new followers, new income streams. Because I mean, that's kind of how a lot of artists are operating nowadays, is like all of these different sort of income streams in all of these different places. But I mean, that just to sort of echo your idea here of like, you know, making it more of a collaboration, I think that's also probably the smarter thing to do overall, because you're lending your talent to a thing. And I feel like I feel like remix as a term is maybe sort of, I mean, like, you know, like Sam as a test audience, not to call you out, buddy, but like, you know, of somebody who like maybe has a negative connotation for that word of like,
I've heard it
I don't
just
wanna
so
listen to
much
it if I can
in
Yeah.
like I've just heard it in so much of a context of like dubstep where it's just like they took, you know, like a Taylor Swift song and they're like, we just added, you know, a dubstep beat to it and sped it
Yeah,
up. And it's like,
exactly.
I just want to fucking shoot my brains out when I hear that kind of shit.
I
like-
agree.
But no, like
totally.
when it's like when there's creative elements,
Sure.
I mean, there's such a difference between like that feeling of like we just made it so you can party to it, and as opposed to like we made this because we like it and we are inspired to, you know, create upon it.
Mhm.
I
And-
mean, I don't like to gatekeep enjoyment in any
Sure.
form. So, like, I mean, there's people that enjoy that shit, and so more power to them. Like, if that's what you,
Oh, yeah,
if
for
that's
sure.
what gets you off, like, more power to you. Like, I'm not gonna get in the way of that, but I do think that remixes as just like a term for things.
Yeah.
like I just don't like it anymore.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, like, and
So-
it's totally fine, like you said, for people to be whatever they're into. But I,
Yeah.
No.
remix has
Fuck people.
I used to have your attitude, Sam. But
No, dude, I've just met a lot of fucking dirtbag DJs. Like, I like DJs. I'm not saying. Oh, excuse me. I've just met a lot of fucking shitty DJs who are like ex-musicians, and then they just went to DJ world for whatever fucking reason. And I'm not judging DJs because I have friends who are DJs. I just have met a lot of dirtbag ones who I'm just like, I don't respect you very much as a musician.
There's dirtbags everywhere, though, man. Like, there's
that's 100%.
tons
And I was like
tons of
trying
dirtbag
to
predator musicians too, right? Like,
100%. Yes.
Like, I will say one thing in terms of like musician versus DJ. Like, I had friends growing up who were musicians, like, who didn't consider anything that I was doing to be like me being a musician, So
Sure.
I don't like that narrative of like, well, when do you start being a musician? Like, that's kind of gatekeeping.
I
in my opinion.
100%. Also, I really want to just quick say I 100% have the utmost respect for like electronic artists. I'm not saying like if you're doing all stuff like in the box, I'm like judging you or anything.
But there are a lot of people that think like that. Musicians that are like, they get resentful, like, it's quote unquote easier to do what you're doing than it is to play the guitar or the piano or to fucking sing or whatever. It's like, actually, no, it isn't.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
like, it really isn't. And like, all the things that I had to learn to get to where I am today, like,
they all
I
take
had to
time
learn how
and
to engineer.
dedication.
I tell you, most of the musicians I know, and like I'm saying, like 95% of them, they don't know anything about engineering. They pay someone to do that shit, and it's like, when you're an electronic musician, you're an electronic artist, you have to learn how to do all those things, right? Like, so yeah, I don't know. I used to have a different attitude when it came to that kind of stuff, like,
sure.
And I've kind of had to change my views over the years. Like, I used to be the biggest hater in terms of like, just like, oh, this is fucking awful music, and like, why do people listen to this shit? And like, I used to have that, and then I realized how resentful I was at points towards that, and just like, oh, all right, I'm a little too self-aware now. Like, I don't know. I think it really comes down to the way that you look at things.
Sure.
Yeah, no, and again, I definitely don't mean like broadly speaking, because like while we were talking at the beginning, I was listening to your music, and I'm like, this is fucking sweet. And like, there's a lot of electronic music I like, and I've been exposed to a lot of like EDM that I enjoy. So I definitely do not mean broadly speaking. I more so just mean here.
Yeah. But like you said, Phil,
let me just real quick, because there was one thing I didn't say in my initial like thing that pisses me off about some DJ shit is when it's approached as like, I want to make money and I'm using this venue to like the easiest venue for music to capitalize and like party and like, I don't know, fucking do drugs and like hook up with people and just like basically using something I've dedicated my like life to as like a platform to like be a shithead,
Yeah, but I mean that those kinds of people are everywhere, man. Like those people are literally everywhere in the entire world. You're gonna like, there's psychopaths and manipulative people everywhere you look. Every industry. Those people usually fucking succeed too because they're driven, like their motivation system like inherently lets them do better, right? So I mean there is tons of dirtbag DJs that like totally abuse music.
Too emotionally invested in this, I can't articulate properly what I mean.
But I know what you mean. It's like it's something that you love something so much, and then you see people using what you love so much as a way to only benefit themselves.
Yes.
To be completely self-serving. I totally understand that.
For nefarious intention.
Yes.
To take advantage of people and use them.
But I do want to draw a line there.
Them.
I do want to draw a line there where it's like, there is also just the DJ that just wants to make a living. It's not about like them using people and, wedding DJs, for instance, like, hey, you fucking, people are going to need to hire one. Like that's a job, right? Like, I think it's important to make the distinction that's like.
I also want to jump in here very quickly to say I have the utmost respect for a lot of Twitch DJs and people DJing online and streaming, Bella LeBlanc, Chris EBM, EBM Worldwide, and like that whole network is vast and huge and a very good thing for our scene at large. And, hats off to the people who fucking do it for a living, are like busting their dicks every day to try and expand a thing they love, right? I think that I agree with you, Phil, that there is a lot of people, you're going to run into that everywhere, but there are so many who are doing it just because they love it. I mean, I've almost become a DJ a dozen times because I'm like, I love this thing. How do I touch it? You want to be closer to a thing that you love, right? So you want to be involved in it somehow if you
Is it
can't
a
do
love
it yourself.
for music? I honestly don't understand DJing at all. Is it like a love for music and wanting to just like share it and like
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
To be like,
Yeah,
I want to
man.
get all these people together and I want to play music that I think is fucking great and see them dance and like help them have a good time and be like, yeah, this is fucking great, isn't it? I think so. And you get to share a thing you love and share it with people who get to enjoy it, presumably, unless, I don't know, you're playing shitty
Absolutely.
music.
That's 100% it. Like I think DJs they're still very important. I think not all of them are, but like there are like DJs that like culturally they are, some of them are the reason that genres of music have happened. Like I look back and like I like dubstep in the early days of dubstep. Without those DJs, that music wouldn't have gone anywhere. It wouldn't have become what it is today without those people who really gave a shit about the culture for performing it live.
Yeah.
Some of them produce, but like there are skills of the DJ, being a DJ. Like it's not just about having a pre-recorded set. There are DJs that actually DJ in terms of like reading a room and like not having a set list that's set in stone. Like they're actually like thinking about records to play and seeing people's responses to the records and analyzing. Like that is a skill, and there is people out there that are really amazing at doing that.
Yeah.
And that's why they make a living doing that. That's why they've been making a living doing that. There's a big difference between that and fucking.
And just to jump in really quick, you're often going to run into the people who are like, what was that song you played? They will be happy to tell you what it is because like they played it to share it, right? Like, and it goes and it goes all the way down to the like even the basic levels of like, is this person a good DJ? Are they doing anything super live or anything? Is it pre-recorded or who cares? Because they are putting on a goth night in a place that doesn't have one or fucking whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, nothing against pre-recorded sets. Like, I mean, in terms of certain situations, I can understand the pressure, like to play.
I don't have a dog in this
spot at a festival.
As somebody who is
like,
not a DJ, I don't have like a stake in this argument. I'm sort of indifferent. Like if there's music playing, great. I don't care what anybody's doing.
Yeah, I guess like I mean, if you're a producer, like for me, for instance, I'm not really I know how to DJ, but I'm not gonna go out there and be like, well, I am a DJ. Like my identity is a producer, composer.
Sure.
Like, I've done the hard work before my set. Like I'm gonna be playing. I'm gonna play mostly my music. I don't really care too much about like reading a room, like or anything like that. That's not what I do. But there are people out there that are really good at that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's like one of the biggest differences between good DJs and bad DJs.
Yeah, because I have seen the person who clears the dance floor and like, oh hey, everybody's really dancing and having a good time. What if we just hard cut into this long quiet intro for this other song? Like just like things that it's just like, dude, let people have a good time. Don't do whatever this is that you're trying to do.
One of my favorite fucking things in the world right now, actually, it's funny that I even remotely shit on DJs. One of my favorite things in the world right now is literally just listening to student radio and like being exposed to new music and music I wouldn't otherwise listen to. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess radio hosts are actually DJs. So
yeah, we have a great station in our city. I'm in Toronto, and we have a really, really good college radio station. That's like, I don't know. We're lucky. It's pretty fucking good.
Oh, nice.
But,
Sweet.
Yeah. Anyways, I was gonna say something, but it slipped my mind. Forget
AI music.
Oh, AI music. That's a depressing conversation. I'm not sure that I have right for that right now. That's a really depressing conversation. I will say one thing.
I thought you said pressing. Okay.
Oh no,
yes, it is depressing.
I will say that I don't think it's as big of an issue right now as people think it is. Like it is obviously like it's scary. It's this new technology. It's really fucking powerful for the stage it's at. And a year from now, it's probably going to look a lot different and a lot more scary. But like as it is right now, I mean the sound design that the AI does and the fucking mixing is awful. So I'm confident that it's not going to really affect me or any other artists. You can use it as a songwriting tool, and like that's that might be considered cheating. But in terms of like actually just like releasing AI music or and like maybe even like getting it mastered, it's like you can tell like this is not going to sound fully professional, right? So we have some time, but it is scary. It's a really useful tool for songwriting if you want to like if you have writer's block and you just type a prompt in and it's like, okay, well, here's something I can go on. Like, I don't like, there are obviously pros and cons to everything. I think it's hilarious the way AI music is being used now. It's more like a lighthearted thing. Like people are memeing with it. Like the whole like Drake and Kendrick thing. There's a song.
I didn't hear anything about that.
There's a song that someone made, an AI song called BBL Drizzy. And it's like, they've made this like 70s soul music using the fact that Drake has like fake abs or something like that as like the punchline, and BBL Drizzy repeated a bunch of times as the chorus. And to me, that's fucking hilarious. I love that. That's why AI music should exist. Is to me.
Dude, yeah, exactly, man. I made a fucking terrible AI song and sent it to Brian because I was just like, well, what do you like? I was just wanted to see what AI music was like, and it's like the most obnoxious thing I've ever heard, but it's fucking hilarious. And then the eeriness of it all set in because I'm like, this song is like kind of stuck in my head, and like, it's deeply inhuman, and like their inflections, like they'll like what do you call emote their voice in like certain spots that don't make any fucking sense for the word, but it comes across as kind of human, and you're like, uncanny valley. I just feel uncomfortable.
To me, AI has and never will be the problem. It's humanity that's the problem. It's just greed at the end of the day. It's how we're going to use AI. That's the biggest issue, right? It's the fact that the laws aren't going to be in place for there to be fair use of AI, and we're going to lose shit tons of jobs, and that's a whole other fucking subject that I don't even want to get into. But I don't think AI it's not like that it exists that depresses me. It's how I know how it's going to be used to like make people lose jobs, which is that's the bad part, right? And I think that we have a limited time period to actually make legislation, at least in the countries that we can, to fucking stop this shit from really becoming an issue.
I think they're already working on. There was one thing for AI art that they're currently working on legislation for. I don't remember the exact bill, but it was basically like something that was like, this could just pretty much shut down AI as far as like using it for digital art.
Not to be that guy, but this also does sort of open the door to a bigger question of like, okay, so we're gonna have elderly lawmakers legislating about a thing they don't understand, with nonetheless in governments that, not to get too insane, but with governments that are not interested in doing things for people. Money talks in those places. So
it's weird to think that they would
greed, man. It's fucking greed.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's weird to think they would even possibly stand up for an artist in a million years.
Yes, exactly. My expectation is zero. Based upon just based upon reputation. Not to, sorry. I don't mean to like make this thing a whole down.
I was pretty fucking blown away when I heard that there was like possibly legislation already taking place, and like I don't know where it went, and it's. I was like, really? Could they actually? Because my brain immediately goes to the cynical part of like, of course they want to get as few people employed as possible, and like, of course the greedy people are gonna like be on top of this situation.
Right?
They always are, and humans are just so fucking inherently flawed. Yeah. Most of them, anyways. It's like it's perfect. Like. Yeah, I mean, the writing is on the wall, in my opinion. Like, I'm just here to enjoy the show. Is my attitude as of late. I've adopted a very George Carlin-esque worldview.
Agreed. And I mean, that's all any of us can do, I feel like, is that we are watching a revolution. We're caught up in the gears of history. Like, we are watching it happen, and our sphere of influence is small. We can sit on the sidelines until it kicks down the door. So until that happens, we just have to continue doing our best to fucking live and love and be humans and do our fucking best, I guess, and hope that that's good enough. but we can talk more about your fucking music career if you would like. If you would like.
Oh, I prefer this conversation, man. This has way more depth to it, but
Okay.
absolutely, yeah. Let's talk more about my music career.
What is, because I did want to at least I don't want to harp on it too much because I mean, I feel like there's more interesting things to know about you other than just that. But I did want to at least inquire as to like what do you want to sort of have come of it? Is there something in the next like 12 months that you have in mind for yourself of like, I'd really like to make it to this kind of a milestone or something like that?
Yeah. I've kind of changed. I mean, a few years back, I was chasing stream numbers, and I was looking like, oh, that's a goal, but it's not fulfilling to chase numbers. It just isn't. You're never gonna be happy. It's never gonna be good enough. So I've kind of changed my mindset lately, and I had a realization. It's like it's not about me. It's less about a tempo for me and more about a vibe, like a feeling for the music. Like if you couldn't play that music in the background of a John Wick shooting scene, that's probably not dark clubbing, in my opinion. It's like one of my biggest inspirations is that scene in the first movie, where the Castlevania, his track plays, and all his like series of tracks play. That is like one of my biggest inspirations for what I'm doing today. Is that scene, that music behind that movie, like that dystopian club music. I fucking love it. So, yeah, I just want to kind of like propagate the culture of that and maybe like make it something, because it's never really been something on its own, like that kind of vibe. We have techno that's really in right now, but it's not dark or dystopian enough for me.
Gotcha.
Your avatar / a lot of the album covers like reminded me of sort of like a They Live type thing. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
No, I haven't.
Oh shit, dude. Well, so you said dystopian, and then that reminded me. They Live is like a cult classic, basically about like, what is his name? Roddy Piper?
Yes.
Who that fucking is?
Correct.
He was an ex WWF player or wrestler, and fucking he turned actor terribly.
It is,
but whatever.
It's also
you
worth
should
mentioning.
You need to watch it.
Watch it. It is. It's a John Carpenter film. And it's up your alley. Yeah.
I'm very glad you cut me off because I don't want to ruin anything here. But basically, Roddy Piper is the fucking main character, and it's a weird ass fucking movie, cult classic. There's a lot of weird music in it as well. John Carpenter, I think, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he does
compose the entire soundtrack.
Yeah, he does some weird ass shit on it.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I have it written down. I've read comments of people comparing my music to saying it could be in like a John Carpenter film. So
it's better than John Carpenter's music though.
I appreciate it,
dude. I mean, like, I think he's a filmmaker first and foremost. I don't really fucking know, but
I agree. I mean, everybody's like, oh, the Thing theme. I mean, that's Morricone also, but isn't it? I think the main theme from the Thing that everybody's like, John Carpenter. I'm pretty sure that's like actually
I don't remember the theme.
Morricone. Anyway, but like I do agree with you. Movie. I like, the Halloween theme is nice. It's not the most complex of things, but it's fine.
I thought you were saying the Thing.
No, yeah, the Thing.
Yes.
Yes. No, I was talking about the Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing.
I don't fucking know that.
Anyway, They Live is definitely worth watching. It is. It's got the dystopian vibe for sure, and it fits with. If I had to like make a short list of films for like our sort of dark subculture genre kind of a place we find ourselves in, I would be like They Live is kind of essential viewing, I would almost say. Not to like overhype it or anything. You can watch it and hate it, or not watch it if you don't
need
want
to know
it,
it's bad.
I think I'll like it,
but it's good.
I think I'll like it. I might even watch it later tonight. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Report back if you, if you do.
I'll report back to the next episode.
For sure. Let's. On that note, what the last question of the podcast that I always ask, what is something that you're enjoying right now? And your answer can be anything. Let's just, we got pretty deep and pretty
Sorry.
pretty heavy. No, it's fine. Like, that's the state of our fucking world, and these are important things to be talked about. Like, I don't want to sound like, let's keep it positive around here. Like, the world is fucking burning down around us, but we try and at least remember the good parts, I guess. And just real quick, also, to anybody who is protesting, be fucking safe. It's appreciated, but be safe. Anyway,
Absolutely.
what is something that you are enjoying right now?
The little things, man. Like, just we could be in such a worse position than we are.
Agreed.
And so I just think it's important to enjoy the little things, man, because life is fucking short. I've had many a firsthand experience with life being short, and don't and I do get banana shape, and it's easy to tunnel vision and to spiral and just to be obsessed with the state of affairs. I certainly did it over the pandemic, but right now I'm in a good place, and just don't take anything for granted. If there's anyone listening that's going through a tough time, don't take anything for granted.
Agreed.
Because just life is short, so find enjoyment. If you find enjoyment in anything, as long as you're not hurting other people, you should, and you're not hurting yourself, and that's also important too, because there's a lot of ways to enjoy yourself that is self-destructive. But any way that you can find enjoyment other than those two things, just do it. And if you're not enjoying yourself, like, look for ways to enjoy yourself, because it's life is too short to live in misery.
Yeah,
so
you got to get it while you can. Agreed. Is there any? So you mentioned you're enjoying the small things. What's a small thing you've been enjoying lately? Like video game, movie, something like that.
Poker. I'm not. I don't really like. I've been kind of playing poker on and off my whole life. I've never been like very good, but I've kind of been watching more videos on it and like learning it a bit more.
Sure.
And like when I started watching poker on TV like 20-ish years ago, the way that they played the game back then, it's the same game, but the way they played it is very different, right?
Right.
And so it's been cool, like, seeing where it's come from then, because I played for years and years.
Sure.
And just over the last year, YouTube algorithm must have like brought something up to my feed, and I just like kind of went down a rabbit hole on that. So I've just been enjoying learning that. Like,
do you like playing online and stuff?
Not like occasionally. I haven't really been playing too much.
Okay. Gotcha.
I really just like play for free money. Like, I don't like to. I'm not investing any money into it, but it's learning. Like, I just like learning things. Gotcha. And I mean, I could be learning stuff doing music, but I've been
you
so
can't do it all
music.
the fucking time.
I've spent so much time nerding out and being obsessed with music that, like, it's good to have other things too, right? I do like playing other games as well.
Gotcha. Sam, what about you?
Dude, fly fishing.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's been so fucking fun. And I mean, that same note of like just learning things is really fun. Because I've been a fisherman my whole life, and I like trout fishing a lot. And my buddy does fly fishing, and I was like, all right, this is the year. I'm gonna finally start to fucking fly fish. And it was so hard to like learn to even cast. But now that I've been catching fish on it, it's so fun.
It sounds dope. I like fishing. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. It's really fun to just hang out by the creek and just watch the water flow. Even if you're not catching fish, it's very, very meditative, very relaxing. It's really nice. I
love getting out of the city, man. Like,
I
live in Toronto. It's a bustling metropolis, but I just love.
Is it not hard to get away from it? Like, is there like nature pretty close to Toronto? Really?
There's like ravines and stuff. It's not like like I'm in more of the outskirts of Toronto, so it's not like I'm right in the middle of the city. But even like an hour and a half away from the city, like, it's completely different, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing here, man. If you just go like a little bit north or west, you're just in the middle of fucking nowhere, where you're like, do.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna die. But I like it.
No, I enjoy that stuff too. I really like getting away and going up to the cottage or whatever, and just enjoying cleaner air and the sound of peace. Except in the summertime when everyone's being a loud asshole at the cottage, maybe myself included.
It's just nice to also not hear all that noise pollution, like all the cars and stuff. To just have that like low hum be gone.
Yeah, man. Noise pollution, light pollution. Yeah, it's a very liberating experience to do that for a little bit. I couldn't live like that all the time, probably, but yeah, it's nice.
I definitely could. That's my goal with music, is to fucking eventually make enough that I can live in the middle of fucking nowhere and
off the grid.
Not off the grid, but like I want to live where it's mostly nature sounds.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And people should get out into nature. Enjoy it where you can. While you can. Sorry, we're trying to be but I mean, you know,
I mean, I think they know what they're gonna, what they're, you know.
Yeah,
it is what it is, man. Yeah, enjoy it while you can, because you never know when
a propaganda term used to distract us from the fact that we're always in nature.
Yeah, try and enjoy nature while you're able to, because fucking who knows.
You never know where they're gonna. You never know when they're gonna build a fucking condo there, like they do in every other place in my city. Like it's just a sea of condominiums.
Yeah.
Smash my fucking head against the wall.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well,
Ryan,
my answer.
What have you been enjoying?
I will happily tell you, it is not going outside. It is. I mean, I don't have anything against going outside or anything. Like, I'm not trying to.
I hate
anything. I hate the sun. No, I just. What the fuck have I been enjoying? That's a good question. I'm never prepared. I'm never fucking prepared, dude.
You had kind of a rough week, so
yeah, I did have a kind of a rough time lately. Glad to still be alive. I guess, and
whoa, that's a big statement. So you gotta fill me in a little bit here.
I wish it was a more exciting story than it is. It's underwhelming as fuck. But I pulled a muscle in my side reaching for a thing I could have easily moved my chair to get. Anyway, pull a muscle right in my fucking side that makes it painful to laugh, breathe, cough, move around, do fucking anything. In the process of trying to sort of tape up my ribs to get me out of pain, I sort of had difficulty catching my breath, and I began to feel lightheaded. I sat down and was, informed the person there with me to find me an urgent care. I need to go to one. And in the process of that and sitting there trying to catch my breath and just breathe, I passed out and apparently stopped breathing. She got me upright and awake, and I was like, I am dying. Please call 911. And paramedics came. I was blue, cold, but otherwise fine. Just looked like somebody who almost just fucking died, maybe. So,
jeez,
so
that's heavy, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very glad that you're well in here with us, man.
Yeah, thank you. For only to go to the hospital and turn out I'm fine. And apparently you can pass out from pain and it's okay. But I'm glad to be alive. It has been and sort of with that has come a lot of, reflection and perspective shift and everything like that of like, okay, here's another brush with mortality. Like, and it kind of comes back around to like what you were saying is that like, we gotta fucking enjoy this shit while we can, because fucking it could be gone like fucking tomorrow. You could, pull a fucking muscle and then fucking die, and then you die some stupid ass way, dude. You could reach for a thing you could have easily reached otherwise, and then you're fucking dead. So enjoy it while you fucking can. And
you could fart in the shower. And die.
But yeah, I've been enjoying being fucking alive still. And most importantly, though, the component of that is having all the people in my life I do that love me and care for me as they do. It became very apparent during this whole thing. And it has been for a little while now. But, it's nice to have a net to catch you when you need it. That's been wonderful. That's all I got.
I totally agree with the having good people around you. Like, I think it's so important. You're gonna have to start curating people around you. And you don't want people that are gonna bring you down.
Or to associate.
You don't want people.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, or I agree with you completely. The curation of like choosing people because of their moral character, or their ethics of who they are as people. I think that's really
and that's a tricky one. That could be a
Yes.
tricky one because some people you don't find out who they are until years and years later.
Yeah.
And so that's always a tricky one. And obviously it's important, you want morally good people around you, but it's also, I think, important not the high road, and like, everyone makes mistakes.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely good people versus bad people. It makes all the difference in the world.
Agreed.
So.
And I would feel remiss if we were on the subject of talking about good people and surrounding yourself with good people if we didn't both mention our mutual friend Leah. I have had such a good time like getting to know her and talking to her. Very talented, very thoughtful, lovely human being. So I just wanted to at least make sure that, shout out Leah, yo.
Shout out Leah. Yeah. Absolutely. All the aforementioned.
Not the Leah I know, right?
Yes, the same.
Oh, Goth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a good time.
Yeah.
No, she's an outstanding human being.
Yeah.
And yes.
Agreed. Along with Mobius and Zafu, who seem rad. We mentioned them previously in the show, but like, I'm looking forward to interviewing Mobius and Zafu. Isn't his name is Bijan? I believe. Yeah.
Bijan. Yeah.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure if I was misremembering because it's a very unique name, so I didn't want to it's this fucking thing that I made up.
Yeah,
That's wrong. But also a wonderful human being. So definitely mad shout out there.
Actually, I have a little bit of an announcement for anyone in Toronto or around Toronto. We are actually in the middle of planning a show for fall with Zafu and Dominus and a few others, which is going to be fucking awesome. So that's going to be probably around September. And yeah, I want to do like more events for this kind of sound,
Yeah.
I think it's super important that we get out there and play live and stuff like that. So
for sure, especially in a place like Toronto, especially sort of up in that region. I feel. Yeah.
I mean, mostly in terms of electronic shows right now, it's either house, techno, or drum and bass. Now, I love all three of those things,
sure.
But I definitely want to at least create like either a yearly or a bi-yearly night dedicated to, some of the stuff that I do, some of the stuff that people on the labels that I release on do. And
yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting. I am looking forward to I won't be there, but I will look forward to in spirit I will be. Yeah. There will be Void Signal guests that are playing this event. So I'll be there spiritually. You'll feel me when you're about to go.
I will not. My spirit is stretched too thin.
Yeah. Sam can't spare anymore. That's fine.
Just kidding. I love you. You're great.
But okay. Well, that is it. Thank you for coming on Void Signal and having a chat with me and this fool that hangs out.
Yeah, man. Thanks for putting up with me.
Hey, my pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you so much. All right. Void Signal intro and outro music courtesy Processor. Visit processor2.bandcamp.com for more Processor, and visit voidsignal.net to help support the creation of more Void Signal. Thank you.